minimum anxiety, my new morning routine. Give it up for Monique. I
want to start with one huge question for every single person here. Who here has ever felt overwhelmed before? Raise your hands. Let me get your
Whoa!
Wow, all you guys have felt overwhelmed at some point. And what happens when we get overwhelmed? Because we've all got busy lives. We've all got multiple different things that we're looking to achieve, looking to do, looking to build, looking to experience, needing to get done, responsibilities, all kinds of obligations. Wow, that just sounds overwhelming talking about it, doesn't it? But imagine if you could get rid of all that stress, all that anxiety, all that pain that we go through as a result of being overwhelmed. And if you could start each day with clarity, confidence, certainty, and a plan that you knew you could follow to achieve everything that you wanted to achieve that day. The secret lies in the morning routine. When you win the morning, you win the day. And the way that you win the morning is something I'm going to tell you guys very, very shortly. Because the first thing I want us to all understand is, where does this anxiety and stress come from? Why do we get overwhelmed? I mean, if we get all the things done and we see other people who are able to accomplish just as much as us, if not more, if we could just got all these things done, then we wouldn't have to experience this. But the reason why we experience anxiety and stress and overwhelm is unanswered questions. When you have unanswered questions about your job, your responsibilities, your family, your business, your bills, your health, all the other things that come up that stress us out, overwhelm us, make us anxious, are a result of these unanswered questions. And so what's the solution to unanswered questions? Clarity. So that's the first part of the morning routine, the clarity walk. So every single morning I wake up very, very early. Early is a subjective term. For me, early is about any time before 4 a.m. Now, I used to not be a morning person. In fact, those of you who have known me here for a couple of years know I used to come late every single day without fail, because I used to wake up at like 6:30, roll out of bed, and rush over here. But I actually wake up before 4 a.m. most days now. And the reason why is because, yeah, it sucks waking up early, but what sucks even worse is having unanswered questions, is having a lack of clarity, is having anxiety, stress, a lack of productivity. And guess what happens when you aren't productive? You get less motivated, your energy goes down, and you become even less productive, and you become even more anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed, right? So that's why this is so important. That's why I've committed to this. And every time I screw up on this without fail, I lose that gift. When you wake up early and you do the morning routine, you get the gift. When you don't get the gift, and you suffer the consequences for the rest of the day. And once you see the truth of actually experiencing this, of actually trying it for a day and experiencing what your day is like, you might need some coffee your first day, just heads up. But when you actually experience the truth of what you're able to get done when you do this morning routine, and the rest of it, which I'm about to share with you right now, you can't go back. You can't go back to waking up late, sleeping in, and all the other things I used to enjoy, even on the weekends. And so what comes after the clarity walk? Well, the next step is to journal. Now, how many of you here already journal? I think in this type of environment, we see more people than usual who journal. But if I went to a room of average people, I think maybe 1 out of 100 people raise their hand. We're here at Toastmasters, so more people raise their hands. Journaling is incredibly powerful because when you establish this clarity, this certainty, and this confidence early in the morning by going for a clarity walk and asking yourself the questions to answer these unanswered questions and get clarity on what you need, where you're at, where you're going, we can now structure our revelations into a journal entry. And so the points on your journal entry also determine what you think about during your walk. And the first one is, where am I at? Just an honest assessment. Where am I at? What am I doing? Where am I? Where am I going? Just asking yourself these questions. They're actually quite enjoyable and energizing to ask yourself as you go for a walk and get fresh air in the morning. So you write this down in your journal. The next one is, what are my triggers? Because inevitably, at some point, you're going to have triggers that come up throughout your thought process when you're thinking about where you are, where you're going, things you're frustrated with, things that trigger you into being distracted and losing your focus and losing your productivity, different things. For me, it was social media. If I open up my phone, I have a notification on Facebook or Instagram, and I click on it, 2 hours later, I'm still scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, wondering where my day went. And so I had to realize that I had to cut that out in order to get the gift. So when you start to reflect on your triggers, and we all have different triggers and multiple triggers in our lives, when you start to access the trigger and ask yourself, why is this triggering me? You start to ask yourself more questions, but first just identifying and removing some of the triggers, you're already making your day more productive, less anxious, less overwhelmed, less stressed. Now the second question is, what am I hesitating about? What am I procrastinating on? What do I need to get done? What have I been afraid to do that I know I need to do? Whether it's in your personal life, a tough conversation you have to have with somebody in your personal life to remove a trigger. Whether it's something you need to get done for work, for your business, for your family, for your health. What are you hesitating on? And as you start to reflect these things and define the patterns, you start to be able to tackle and conquer the fear. And guess what the next part of the morning routine is? What are my fears and anxieties? We'll reflect on this next, right? I'm happy to see you guys taking notes. This is good. And finally, look at everything you've written on the page and acknowledge what you've written. Accept what you've written, acknowledge what you've written. And from there, the last step is planning your day. How can I dominate today based on what I've reflected on and written here? You go into your calendar, when you have this level of clarity, you can literally fill in your entire calendar in 5 to 10 minutes. This entire morning routine takes a relatively short amount of time, depending on how long you need to walk for to get that clarity. So don't time it by an arbitrary amount of time. Just go by how long it takes. How long?
5 hour walk.
If you got 5 hours, go for a 5 hour walk. I typically go for about a 30-minute walk. That's ideal for me. And at the end of this morning routine, you have a plan, you have clarity, you're in a heightened state of energy, motivation, productivity, relaxation. And ever since I implemented this over the last few weeks, my life has completely changed. And I got to give credit to my mentor, Lynn, for teaching me this. I've shared this with my clients, my bodybuilding clients, in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, where they've seen more productivity, less anxiety, less stress. With my clients who are 50 plus in my posture and weight loss program for movement and posture, these guys have seen a massive increase in their quality of life. I mean, it's really for everybody, because everybody raised their hand at the beginning of this presentation. Everybody feels overwhelmed at times. And this morning routine can help you no matter who you are. So I urge you, try this out. Like I said, the first day, you're going to need some coffee if you're not used to waking up early. But wake up at whatever early is for you, whatever gives you an hour or two to do this and enjoy it and take your time with it. And I guarantee you're going to feel so much better. Let me know how it goes.